right, let's try and get an update now. Our reporter Erin is covering this story for us, and she joins us live from outside the City Hall in Cape Town. And this is where the members of Parliament, Erin, are going to be filing in closer to the hour of 2 o'clock. Let's start with whether or not the Speaker does seem amenable at all to this secret ballot, the attempts here being made by the ATM. They do appear to be insistent that the Speaker must respond to their cries that this should be a secret ballot, otherwise it's intimidation for members of Parliament.
Yes, Polly, I'm afraid it's a hard no from the Speaker in Parliament. She wrote to the ATM yesterday in that repeat request for a shrouded ballot, you could say. The UDM, amongst other opposition parties, also clamouring for that. And some in the ANC, not necessarily in its caucus, have been pushing for it too. But Nosiviwe and Mapisa-Nqakula saying to the ATM that things in Parliament are, rigorous. They're contested, and there's nothing so toxic here, she thinks, to warrant needing a secret ballot. So that's where she's drawn the line ahead of the discussion at 2 o'clock today. Chloe, I'm just going to move out of shot quickly. You'll see this is the entrance on the side of Corporation and Darling Street in the city of Cape Town. We're at the City Hall because, of course, Parliament is still undergoing renovations after the fire at the beginning of this year. And here at this entrance is where we've been seeing tens of the hundreds of MPs from different political parties in the National Assembly streaming in already, along with some of Parliament's staff members, and also, of course, lots of security here. If you're driving around the Cape Town CBD today, beware that there are some road closures, traffic officials and police on site. We're on the side of the public, and that's no accident, Polly. It is, of course, the People's Parliament. We're on this side of the fence or the cage for now. And a little bit earlier today, I spoke to Professor Pierre de Vos from the University of Cape Town about some of the issues that are weighing on his mind as we look forward to 2 o'clock this afternoon. Here's just a snippet of that discussion.
What complicates the matter here is that the panel report obviously is now contested. Whether there's sufficient evidence to show that there was a serious violation of the constitutional law is a debatable one. But the fact that it is in the public realm, that everybody's talking about it, that the President is still it's demanded that he should account, that he should give the full picture, that is something that probably wouldn't have been so prominent if the rules were not changed in this way.
So, Chloe, there are just some thoughts as we look forward to that 2 o'clock discussion. I have some of the Phala Phala independent panel report under the Section 89 process with me, going through what former Chief Justice Sandile Ngcobo and his two colleagues, retired Judge Thokozile Masipa and Senior Advocate Mahlape Selo, found. Remember, it's their conclusion, which the President is contesting in the Constitutional Court, or hopes to, which is going to be among what MPs discuss today. And there's a lot of homework that they would have had to have done by this point to really deal with the substance of the matter. And I think important just to note, Claudia, there seems to be an inferred dichotomy between voting with one's conscience and actually applying one's mind to the report. And it's really an issue of fact here, an issue of evidence, and what MPs make of the provision under Section 89 for sufficient evidence. That's the wording in the rules and the law around what the panel needs to find before deciding that a case is here to be answered.
Thank you very much for setting that context for us, and it really makes us look forward to not just the conclusions of the process that's going to be unfolding in Parliament a little later, but also what the Constitutional Court is ultimately going to come to as a way of a decision. This is a report that's been compiled by their own. These are judicial people, or people who understand the law. And so whatever decision that the Constitutional Court comes to, it's certainly going to be an interesting one, and quite an interesting view from the good party that if the Constitutional Court suggests that the President is correct, what happens to the parliamentary process? It's all making for a very interesting story to watch.